Dumpster Fire. We got a special edition here with Mindy. She has just been telling me all about her experience. She has some books. She has lots to offer us today, especially around how to take care of yourself. And I just want to introduce her. Mindy, would you mind saying just how you got to this podcast today and what do you want people to know about you?
So I was on Instagram and I saw Carry the Flag and I saw you doing a podcast there. And then I saw that you do research with dolphins. And I am personally a big fan of dolphins and love going to the beach and watching them. But I'm really fascinated with how people interact with the dolphins. And not that SeaWorld was the greatest, but I have pictures of my own self with dolphins before, it got a little crazy. But I really love I'm really fascinated with the mind and how it works, as how we can subsidize it with healing. So I'm a Watsu practitioner, which means that I get people into the water and I give them shiatsu massage to help people with ortho issues and mainly PTSD, depression, and anxiety. And then I'm also a registered nurse. I was a trauma nurse first, and then I went to interventional radiology. And now I work for the state of Oregon with intellectual disabilities. So you have to have a severe intellectual disability for me to be working with you in this facet. And then I've done some acting, independent films, and then I wrote some books, and I was just featured in a book called Why HBOT, and that's to help veterans get access to hyperbaric oxygen therapy, because with stem cells, which is what I had put in my spinal cord to help, unfortunately, I was bedbound for 4 years and wasn't able to walk. So with stem cells, I'm able to walk, talk, and kind of reorganize my brain and stuff like that. So I wanted my books to represent the whole totality of what I've been through my life, and teaching people how resilient I am, but how resilient they can also be with overcoming any of the obstacles that they've ever gone through. Like if they've gone through abuse, or if they've gone through any traumatic events, car accidents, and stuff like that. You don't have to have the plethora of issues that I did, but it's great to see how many things that I've overcome just to get to this point.
Yeah, that's you have an amazing story, and I don't just say that. I mean it. I hear a lot of stories from people, and would you mind sharing a bit about the adversities that you feel comfortable sharing with people, just so they know the depth that you've gone to come to this kind of place where now you can share with people what you've learned?
Sure. So unfortunately, I am a sexual assault survivor, incest survivor, and I was gang raped at 10 from my brother's friends. And then again, just shortly after the military, between 1 and 4 doctors. And so that was kind of harsh, and it left me bedbound for 4 straight years. And so I've had 4 organs taken out, and I had pancreatitis just while I was in the military. We went to Hungary and Bosnia, and I caught a parasite basically. And then I had pancreatitis for 8 years, and they did over 300 procedures just to get me to the point of not having basically a pancreas, a duodenum, a gallbladder, or appendix. So I'm like half pint. When I was training for the Diabetes Association and riding, we would train for 100 miles. And there's different types of races. So we would raise money for the American Diabetes Association. And now, after writing these 2 books that I've written, I wrote an autobiography called Resilient Warrior. And I dedicate it to the Vikings and the people that went to Vikings Valhalla, and some that are on the Game of Thrones and How to Train Your Dragon, Eamon O'Keefe. And my book, Dragon's Voice, is for children. And there's 4 straight lessons that basically mainly contribute to don't lie or steal. What I do has an effect on you and everybody else around us. And listen to your intuition, which is really important, and how to make friends. But the most important one for me is listening to your intuition, so that children understand when things are off, to really listen to that, so that they don't get sexualized, so that they don't become abused, they're not molested. And then I want it in various police departments and fire departments and sexual alliance groups. I just got it into the Alabama Sex Trafficking Alliance in Child Safety. Super excited about that. And in Tempe, Arizona, I got my children's book in there, and then we're working on getting it in the fire department. But I want to spread into more fire departments and police departments, so that when children get picked up, we can have a conversation as to calming their nervous system first, or giving it to them after they've discussed it and they've interviewed with them and they're saying, you know, like, what's going on. And it's great for parents because basically they can teach their kids and have an open discussion about listening to their intuition, and then give them examples like, hey, if somebody tells you that mom and dad can't pick you up and I'm here to pick you up, make sure you go to somebody that's trusted so that you don't fall predator to being kidnapped and sex trafficked. Because right now that's on the rise. And I don't know if there's a lot of people that know that, but even in Bend, Oregon, because of the way that 97 hits the I-5 and goes over, it's huge here. And so I want to be a voice for those who have overcome that and who have come over and analyzed, basically have been sexualized or been assaulted. And through all my trauma, no matter what, I've never hurt anybody. I've always gone through like helping others and reaching out to other people and really help them create suicide awareness and prevention, especially for veterans.
Oh, that's so good, Mindy. Thank you. By the way, if people don't say thank you, just hear that from me. And
Thanks.
It's great to hear what you're doing. Do you have the book with you?
I do. So I have a children's book called A Dragon's Voice, and that's on Amazon.com. My publisher / friend actually did all of the illustrations for me. So I tell him he gets the credit, and he's like, don't give me the credit. It's your book. I'm like, he illustrated it. So I love to shout him out, Robbie Grayson. Best. My really good friend. And then
That's
also,
awesome.
and then he also helped me publish a book called Resilient Warrior. And this is my autobiography that basically gives the story from childhood to about 2020 when oh so lovely COVID hit, when I was doing all these talks with schools and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, nothing.
Yeah, totally.
Until now again.
I'm glad you're still doing it, because COVID, whatever you want to call it, that period of time threw a lot of people off. And I know I had planned on going around the country doing like 66 cities. It was this crazy plan, and then it hit, and I was like, I'm not going anywhere.
From 66 to 1.
0. Okay, never mind. Anyway,
but you know what's great about that? The only thing I say that's great about that, well, more things than great, but we have this plugin that now we can do online, and people are so used to doing online stuff that you can do therapy online, and you don't have to go to their office and be uncomfortable. You can slip in your pajamas and still be, you know, okay with it.
True.
You know, you can wear pants or not because it's from here up.
Even the insurance companies came through. Then my field, the behavioral health field, like we had one Polycom. We had a Polycom in the office. Then we could only do televideo and be reimbursed if we were piping into another Polycom at a different office. And before I want to call it the pandemic, but I'll be nice today. And so, but after that, then it became the normal thing. And now can you even do audio only, telephone?
Oh, that's great.
Just talk to people and around the world, really. And it's just bizarre how like something that happens that's adverse can then create an opportunity. And that's
unfortunately, all of my abuse created opportunity for me to help those who have been through it.
Yeah.
Not that I would do it again, but sometimes there's times where I'm like, you know, I would be tortured again, because I was tortured for 4 straight months just to meet the people that I've met today. And they're like, I don't know if that's so great. I'm like, well, actually, I wouldn't have met you if I hadn't gone to that depths.
Yeah, that's true. You wouldn't be who you are if you didn't go. It's that whole song, Rascal Flatts, God bless the broken road that led you straight to me.
Right.
I don't mean that between me and you. I just mean that that brokenness led you to what you're doing right now. And that part is beautiful.
It's great that you can help others to get over what they've gone through and help them lead into a better life, which is totally amazing.
It's cool. Yeah, it's cool how those things can be recycled.
Yeah.
And do you mind sharing a little bit about So I know you can get the books on Amazon. So plug in that right here. Where can people find this information that you have?
So you can, I'm on LinkedIn with my name, Mindy Doherty. I'm on
Mhm.
Facebook with Mindy Doherty. And if you go to Instagram, I'm on Water Gypsy, which is
Mhm.
WTRGPSY. And that's because I'm a water practitioner. And
Yeah.
at the time, I didn't know like how Instagram was working. It was in the beginning plans. And I was like, oh, let me just use this name, not realizing I should have just used my name. You know? And I'm like, oh, great. They're like, how do I find you? And I'm like, oh, oops. So,
Yeah, it's okay.
yeah. And then I'm on
Mhm.
TikTok as well. And that's under Mindy Doherty. So everything is under Mindy
Nice.
Doherty except for Instagram.
Yeah,
And then
sounds
if you
good.
want this personalized, just message me and I actually personalize each one and then mail them out.
Cool. Yeah, a little personal touch. That's even better. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, well, can I back you up too and ask you about the what you do with people in the water a little more specifically?
Sure.
Because you mentioned it, and I feel like it should give us some airtime.
Sure.
Um,
So I'm what's called a Watsu practitioner, and I learned by the creator of Watsu, Harold Dole, who has passed on, and he taught us shiatsu massage in the water. So shiatsu helps with a plethora of issues. So if you have orthopedic issues, or you have bad back, you have bad, neck injuries, if you have TBI, which is traumatic brain injury,
mhm,
PTSD, anxiety, and depression. It really helps with that. And then also, I get kids in the water and I do the same thing with them, which helps calm their nervous system down from whatever
mm,
they've gone through. And sometimes people just need therapy or massage regardless. So it's
mhm,
not just for like, oh, I've been
mhm. I
terrorized.
know.
It's like if you need a
Hmm.
massage, come on down. And so a lot of people that have had, surgeries, they'll come to me, or before surgeries. But then there's some people that have had nothing wrong with them and they just want a massage. And I can do that too.
Yeah.
So what I do is I put floats on your legs, and then I
Mhm.
have a neck pillow to make you more comfortable for people that had
Cool.
neck injuries, or if you just want
Mhm.
to chill out and go to bed. And then I work the body. So from head to toe, we figure out what's going on and I work you all the way out. And then
Mhm.
basically I help realign chakras and do energy work. I'm Reiki certified and a whole bunch of other things certified. So
Mhm.
I have like all these different titles that people love to put on me, and all these little like papers that I've
Mhm.
graduated. I've graduated was what I say, So I've got all these like
Mhm.
little certificates,
Oh,
but my main importance is just
yeah.
helping people in general, and I've
Yeah.
been doing this now. I've been a medical researcher for 31 years. So I
Mm.
was in the military from 18 to 22, and then
Mhm.
I decided I wanted to be a medic in the military, so I was a combat field medic, and then I wanted to go to war. I actually signed up to go to Iraq, and they sent me
Yeah,
the wrong.
roger that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, you would send me the wrong country. Hey, what's happening here?
Mhm.
Um, but whatever happens, happens, and it's always meant to be, right? And whatever's meant for
Mhm.
you will never pass you by is the quote that I don't
Yes.
remember who said that, but I love that quote, and I
Yeah,
quote it a lot, because I
me
figure
too.
whatever is going on in my life, it wouldn't have brought me to Bend, Oregon if I
Mhm.
didn't have all those things happen, because I had a friend that lived here and I loved Colorado. So I was in Denver, Colorado Springs. I'd go to the Divide Wolf Sanctuary.
Yeah,
Love that area.
that
Love that
place is cool.
space. Oh my God, it's
Mhm.
amazing. I miss it. I got a tattoo of the wolf that I met there. It's
Uh-huh.
full thigh, going from like top to
Mhm.
bottom to my knee. And so I mostly do
Mm.
nursing, Watsu therapy, and then I also do independent filming, modeling, and a plethora of other things that just
Yeah,
depend
makes
where we're
sense.
talking about.
Makes sense. Yeah, this is great. So I work with veterans and lots of people, actors, actresses, models, all kinds of folks that I should say usually they start out as some kind of service member of some sort. So I came from the fire department
Okay.
and from a military family and worked with veterans, and I've specialized in that in the last few years.
Nice.
Specifically, the nervous system is what I study.
Okay.
And so when you were mentioning things like your military service and what you do with the body, the somatic work, the resetting, the massage, and then you get into that creative space. I haven't talked about this on camera yet, but there's this, I call it an acronym because I don't know what else to call it. It's called CLIMB. It's connect, leverage, interrupt, move, and build.
I like that.
And it's the process that I believe was given to me, inspired by God. I'm just going to be clear. I don't feel like I made this up, but to be able to show up on camera, because what was happening is I would be on camera at a commercial or an audition. I was doing like 8, 10 auditions a day, and
Wow.
it was fun, but I was also like swallowing like a lot of years of trauma that was just stuck in there, and it was coming out and I couldn't hold it in there any longer.
That's fair.
And so when I hear people that were service members and then they start creating things, I get really interested. So you talk about what you've created. Whoa, my thing just zoomed out. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, something's happening because you're going
my
in.
iPad's like doing its own thing. Anyway, this is 16-7 Productions. This is how it goes too. It's never perfect.
It's called Go with the Flow, yo.
It's just whatever. You know, I literally started on 16 cents and hope on the side of a highway. I was like, I'm gonna make it out of this scenario someday, somehow, some way. But here we are. So let me just pull you back.
So I actually dedicated my book to a show that was on History Channel first. Now it's on, I think, Amazon Prime, but it was very big in multiple countries all over the world, and it's called The Vikings. And I dedicated it to the Vikings because my friend Eamon O'Keefe, who I've known for 12 years now, 11 years maybe, he's the one who actually got me out of the depths of what I was going through, because he's like, hey, I'm in this show and it's called The Vikings. And I'm like, the who? You know, and he's like, you've seen it. I know you've seen it. And I'm like, sure, I've seen it, but I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Like, what do you want, old man? Like, he's old, you know. So I joke with him and I'm like, hey, I used to call you old man, you know, like, what do you want? And so because he was so honest with me and so open, it saw my video, and it was just basically coming out and telling people the story, because I thought I was dying. I was given like a couple months to live, and I was like, you know what? Whatever happens. I better write this book and figure out what's going to happen to me. And then I met my publisher. I went on a podcast and then a radio station with veterans, and that's how I met my publisher, Boone Cutler and Malachias, and that's how I wrote my book. And so when it was dedicated to the Vikings, that means like Michael Hurst is my, like, I would love to meet him, Catherine Winnick and Travis Fimmel. And so this book is in over 17 countries, but what's great about it is it's also been on the Vikings little, like when they were chilling out and filming, it was on set. So for Vikings Valhalla, and then a friend of mine was on Game of Thrones and How to Train Your Dragon. So it's been an amazing kind of process to go through, because I didn't know if I'd even want to do nursing or anything medically related after that had happened. I kind of swore it off, and I kept my nursing license active no matter what. A friend of mine was like, no matter what you do, always keep it. You know, you never know, you could change your mind. I was like, I will never do this. And, you know, I was bedbound for 4 straight years. So between going bedbound, wheelchair, and then crawling on my face and walking and falling on my face again multiple times, like years. It took me 7 years to really go through all the rehab, and I'm still doing physical therapy for what had happened to me. They'd made my left foot look like a hockey stick, and then they pushed it down, and then they slammed it with the metal inside. So I had metal scrapings, basically, and a screw came out and migrated up my leg. So it was pretty gnarly of what I'd gone through. And after that, I was a full-blown Christian. After that, everything kind of just went away. You know, I decided I didn't want any religion at all. And then I watched the Vikings, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can totally relate with this, you know? And I kind of like took on that platform and that anger and that frustration, and I made it into something good, but it took me a long time. You know, I took that anger because, you know, we all deal with trauma differently. And because I had internalized it so much, and because I had figured that, you know, it wasn't something to talk about. Like, it's so open now, right? But back 20 years ago, people didn't want to hear that.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
didn't
so
talk about nothing.
so I shoved it down. And one of my therapists had written a book and she put me in it and she named me the steam pot, which basically meant this pot is steaming and steaming and steaming, and all of a sudden it just blows, And so I had to learn how to really take that anger, be angry about it, but really genuinely kind of lead people in a different direction. And when I get angry, do things different, like go to the gym, which I love to do anyways, or go take a walk, which I love to do anyway, or write. I love to write. I write things out. And then I also write poetry as well. So, I've written a plethora of poetry, both angry, love poetry, I want to kill you poetry, and forgiveness poetry. In my mind, I'm like, well, I never really want to kill anybody because obviously I'm a nurse and don't want to do that. But there were just times where I would be like, I watch UFC and my bonus sister is Misha Tate. I love her to death. So when I'm watching UFC, I'm like, Dana White, I want to go into the ring with like these people that hurt me. Can you just give me for like 5 minutes? And I would just love to just, accidentally beat the crap out of everybody.
Body slam, choke them out.
Right.
Everyone's cheering. That's a show by itself. Just bring in all the people who traumatize and we just let it pass right there.
I would love to come visit your center and be with the dolphins again, because I've ridden dolphins once, and that was so fun. I think it was in San Diego, somewhere in California, where they used to do it. I don't know if they do that anymore in certain, like they don't have SeaWorld doing that much of it anymore because the whale ate the chick, but the trainer.
Yeah, totally.
Two trainers were like, so kind of killed their little egos.
Yeah. Well, dolphins, interesting enough, dolphins are very curious. And I think that is the opposite of certainty, which is one of the things. So I study trauma, and where I look at are the worst case scenarios, and not to be too frank, but like yours is a worst case scenario, like torture. And when I looked at the Holocaust is where my brain went to, is like, what's the worst thing that's happened in this history of our world? And I'm sure there's things that I just don't even know about because I'm just a guy. And I went to that because that's relatively within the time span that I could think of. And looking at what people, how they survived that, the very first thing is they got curious about how could I live today versus certainty that says I'm going to die today. Right. And so that curiosity then I think is key to what you need to do. Not you specifically, because you've already done that. You've been curious. You're creating things. You're curious.
I'm so curious. That hasn't left me.
That you don't let it leave you. Because that's perfect. Dolphins are like that too. They're very curious and they want to interact. They can sense a lot of our nervous systems. Like the first time I got in there, I was really nervous and I was laughing because that was something I learned to do when I was little. Was when I was nervous, I would laugh and make jokes, and the fire department taught me that too.
Right.
And so then I realized, actually, I can relax in here. These things aren't going to hurt me. And so I'm fundraising for Island Dolphin Care. That's in Key Largo. They have a veterans program there that pays for therapy. So you could go, if you could just make it there, they'll walk you through the whole experience, and you can bring your family there with you. And they got a cool story. I won't give it all away, but definitely ask about how that place came to be. And I'll just tell you that that place itself is a resilient warrior center, and they invite people to come do those experiences, and so then that in Marathon where I live, there's another one called the Dolphin Research Center, which is oddly enough, but not odd. They have a veterans program there too. And it's run by two people who were Vietnam veterans. That's how it started. And there's a garden there that I like pick leaves out of or whatever and take care of as much as I can. I'm just a volunteer. But
that's great.
Yeah. So
I
if you,
created Feed My City for that reason, so that people could get their trauma out by creating a garden. And it was basically one seed, one plant, one garden
yeah.
at a time, which means whatever I grow, I can give to my neighbors, my
Mm,
city. And at first, it was just like an idea. And then it went to Australia, England, UK. Like people just,
wow.
it took off. And it was great because it was just like a, I didn't want any money from it. I didn't do a nonprofit from it. I just said, hey, let's just do this,
Yeah.
and now like my city gives to the food banks. So it's been
Uh,
great to see
yeah.
this imaginative thing just come to life and everybody take on their own, and it wasn't meant
Mm,
to be like mine. It was
mm-hmm.
meant to be everybody's,
Just kind of
I wish
share.
a lot of people had that,
I know.
theory of like, I didn't need the credit for it. I just wanted people to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, how about this? Tell us, we got a couple more minutes here. I would love for you to talk about the children's book a little bit. And
Sure.
yeah, say a little more about that.
So this is a dragon's voice, and I'll just show the cover so that you can see it again. And my name is right there. And so the 4 lessons basically are: don't lie or steal, and don't take what's not yours. How to make friends, and what I do has an effect on you and everybody else around you, like creating a win-win situation.
Mm,
And then the most important one that I want to stress to parents and people and friends that have this book is to listen to your intuition so they don't get sexualized, molested, abused, sex trafficked,
mm,
etc. And basically, or kidnapped. So basically what happens is when I open up the discussion with parents, I say, go with your kids and have conversations. Like, if somebody asks you to take your pants off and let's take pictures, don't do it. If you feel like something's off, go check with somebody to make sure that, and you check with somebody that you actually trust,
mhm.
and go to people that you trust and have a discussion with them. And if they don't open up that conversation and you can't trust them, go to somebody else. Because sometimes your parents, you can't trust your parents, and sometimes your siblings, you can't trust your siblings. Me, I'm an incest survivor. None of my family I could really trust, actually. So it's sad but true, and
Yeah.
I'm very open about it. It is what it is, and that's why I wrote my book, Resilient Warrior.
Mm,
And so, with that being said, that's why I mostly want it in fire departments and police departments, so that when police pick them up, they'll have something to read and calm their nervous system down. But also, once they're
mm,
done reading it, or they're done reading it to the child, they can open up that discussion to say what happened to you, and
yeah.
then let them spill the beans. Because most of the time, once your nervous system is calmed down, then you can talk.
Mm,
Until then, the child is in their head, don't want to talk, don't need to talk, are really angry about the situation,
mhm.
or just shut down completely because they're traumatized, depending on
Yeah.
how much trauma they'd gone through, I mean,
Mm,
crazy enough, even when I was a child, I was very happy no matter what happened. I learned to smile and go through it because I was, the pageant queen. My mom put me in pageants, so it was all,
mm,
all about being fake and smiling. So it was
mhm.
like, no matter what you're going through, you're smiling regardless and getting over it. You
Yeah.
don't have time to really think about things, especially when at one point in time we were running from my stepfather, who, was very, very abusive and wanted to kill us. Basically put a shotgun in my head, didn't go off. It clicked, but there was something wrong. It malfunctioned. And then beat my mom up so much to where her face was swollen, and the cops came at the time. And back in the 70s, they didn't think of the way that they did. So let me
Mm,
preface that. Thankfully,
mhm.
they changed that.
Yeah.
But they were like, well, what did you do to your husband to make him do this to you?
Uh,
And then, so it was mostly put upon her. So I
yeah.
always
Blame.
thought, blame. And then my first therapist, when I saw my first therapist, because they forced me to see them at 10, she ended up killing herself the next day. So I learned at a young age, don't tell secrets. Don't even talk about the things that happen to you,
Mm,
because the consequences are much worse than if you just keep it to yourself.
yeah.
So it took me until I was about 22 to even think about
Mm,
therapy.
mhm. Wow, Mindy. There's so much more. I would love to have you back on here and talk. I would like to
Sure.
actually read through your books um and then bring you back on here and talk more about it.
That'd be
'Cause,
great.
yeah, this is great. So thank you so much for like being brave enough. I know you're you're a soldier anyway, but but I would just want to. Maybe you're just a Viking. Maybe that's what this whole thing
Maybe.
is. Like this is your
Right.
Viking heritage coming out, and you're taking uncharted territory here.
Yeah. Strong
And
bloodlines.
that's right. Yeah, right. So again, where can people find your books?
Sure. So
Amazon.
please go to Amazon.com. My name is Mindy Doherty, spelled just like that, Dougherty. If you put my name in, put in A Dragon's Voice or put in Resilient Warrior, and you'll find those. If you Google me, you can put in my name and kind of all over Google. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok.
Awesome. And we're going to add Spotify to that. We're going to add YouTube to that and Apple Podcasts, because that's where you'll see this and hear this. So thank you,
Great.
Mindy. I'm going to see you soon. We're going to go